Some days I'm down here, I'm in the green screen room in the studio, and I might as well just do it every day because I'm standing here and I've got questions on this iPad because people email me their questions and I try to answer those questions. So I'll read you a question and we're going to just give a little bit of advice for a minute here on what somebody might do here. This is from Chris in Atlanta, and he says, here's one for you. What is your advice on reaching prospects that have, quote, gone dark, end quote? Example, I made contact with a cold call, got a discovery call set and completed. Interest was verified, not all of BANT was verified. Now all attempts to move the ball forward are going into a black hole. Okay, this is called chasing. And chasing is a terrible thing to do. You're leaving voicemails, you're sending emails, you felt like there was interest, and now you're being persistent, but you feel like a nuisance, and it's because you didn't do things right at the beginning of the process. And this is why I wrote The Lost Art of Closing, because there are a series of commitments that you have to gain, and you sort of have to link them together. So I'm not concerned about BANT because I don't believe in BANT anymore. I don't think that people necessarily have to have a budget to buy from you. I think when people want to buy something, they find the money to do it, especially if it's attached to something strategic that they want. I also don't think that authority is important in the same way it was thought of in the past, because in the past it was you need to go to the highest level person and list them. And it's true that you need an executive sponsor, but in the old days there was one person who was going to make the decision, and now according to CEB Gardner, there are 6.8, and the next number that they come out with is going to be far higher than that. And they shared it with me. I can't share it with you, but no, it's far, far greater than 6.8. So I'm not looking for authority as much as I'm looking for the ability to build consensus around whatever that need is. And then needs. Most of the people that you're calling on did not wake up in the morning and go, you know what we need? We need a sales rep that sells that one thing that we're really looking for right now. And why don't they ever think that? Because salespeople are doing outbound and they're reaching out to them, and all they have to do is wait 11 minutes and somebody's going to call them and offer to sell them something. So they don't really have to work very hard to do the kind of work that we assume they're doing, like they're out internet researching all the time. They're not. They're not. All they have to do is wait. If what you sell is sort of perceived as a commodity specifically, they're going to get a call in minutes, so they don't have to worry about the need. And then time bound. If we're being honest, they could do it in June. They could do it in August. If there's a $100,000 ROI that they miss out on, most of the companies that you call on are going to be totally fine with that. And it's going to be more driven by how compelling is it? When can we do it? When does it make sense? There's a bunch of other questions. So I'm not concerned about BANT. That's not what stopped you from getting the next appointment. What stopped you from getting the next appointment in this case, Chris, was not controlling the process. So there's two giant rules at the beginning of The Lost Art of Closing. The first one is you have to trade enough value for the commitment that you're asking for so that the client can agree to that commitment. So when you ask for time, it has to be about more than just, I'd like to share with you a little bit about me and my company and our product and services. That's not a great trade of value for the recipient of that. So you need 4 trends, you need some insight, you need something that they get out of the meeting, even if they don't buy for you. But the second rule is here where you're in trouble, and that is controlling the process. And what happens is we go from time to explore, generally to does it make sense to pursue this and commit to changing, and then to collaborate and consensus and determining an investment. All of that tends to happen through discovery. So what you did is you gave up control by not having a concrete meeting on your calendar when you left that meeting, your discovery meeting. That's where you lost control of the process. Now what you've done is said, I'm the salesperson, I know how this process should go, I know how to get you better results, but then I'm going to hand this process over to you. You get back to me when it makes sense for you, or don't get back to me. It's all totally up to you. Now you didn't say those words, but the behavior, that's what you did. So now you handed the control to the client, and the client's decided, I don't feel like engaging with this right now, so I don't have to. And I can delete your voicemail, I can delete your email, I can get back to you when it makes sense. So the first thing is don't lose control of the process at this early stage. Don't leave a meeting without scheduling what the next step is. And if there's a concern about the next step, deal with it then. And maybe the concern was, look, we do have some sort of need, but honestly, it's not a priority for us right now. Okay, great. Now you know this, and you're not going to count on this deal because you know that that's true. The second thing that can happen here, though, is that you can ask for this meeting and they can say yes, and they can still go dark on you. But the fact of the matter is when people make a commitment and they put it on their calendar, they tend to keep those commitments. From this point, you now have to change the game, and you probably have to get just very, very real, very, very fast. So you're going to call and you're going to say something that sounds like, Chris, listen, I thought we had a good meeting. You expressed some interest in here. I've been trying to follow up with you, and one way or another, I want to make sure that I'm serving you and I'm taking care of your needs. So either call me back, send me a text message on my cell phone, or just reply to my email and let me know where you are in this process so I know what you need me to do, and I'll make sure I take care of that, and I'll follow up when it makes sense if it doesn't make sense for you right now, but let me know either way. You're going to leave that on voicemail, and then you're going to send the same thing in an email, and if you don't get a response in about 48 hours, you do it again. Just press them a little bit so they get an answer, and you're going to have a couple things happen here. One, they're going to say, listen, I wasn't blowing you off. We're just super busy. We had this crisis. I didn't have time to get back to you. Okay, that's great. Or they're going to say, listen, it's really not a good time for us to do this. We're right in the middle of something that's a bigger priority. Can you get back with me? In which case you can say, yeah, why don't we put something on the calendar and we'll revisit this in 2 months. Would that give you enough time? I'll put it on my calendar for the 30th and I'll reach out to you then if that makes sense. But you still want to gain a commitment. If there's any interest and you're going to pursue it, get a commitment. If it's disqualified, you got to find another client. And sometimes when you do this, they express an interest because they're being polite, but they're not really interested, in which case you've got to fish or cut bait. I mean, you just have to decide, is I'm in or I'm out on this one. And if you're out, find another client where you got a better shot of winning. That's what you do when clients go dark. Thanks for your question, Chris. What should you do here? I keep forgetting this. I have not done enough every day, and I feel bad about it. I'm going to do better. I got this bag so I can carry the camera everywhere with me and make it make sense. So here's what I want you to do. Like this video and then share this video. I got these in the right order. Leave a comment on this video. Best comment gets a signed copy of both books. And that means the best comment is the one that creates the most value for the other people that read that comment. And then hit subscribe. This is every day.